Wildfires raging around the tri-state.
We don't know how long this will last, and the conservation efforts we're asking everyone to undertake should continue for months.
Danger at our doorstep.
Long Island is under a fire weather watch.
Fire danger is very high today, as posted in Rockaway.
A drought choking the region.
Avoid doing anything that might create fuel.
Tender, dry landscapes, vulnerable to the tiniest spark.
Brush fires continue to ignite across the 5 boroughs.
This was not on fire half hour ago.
Firefighters and homeowners watching the red flag warning.
They know where this fire started, but they're still not yet sure how this started.
Even with some relief in the forecast, it'll be a long road ahead. What's next, and what you need to know about the tri-state wildfires.
42 million people around the tri-state area are under a fire danger warning. The conditions haven't been this dry in years, and the danger is real. We begin here in Greenwood Lake, Orange County, minutes from the New Jersey border and about 50 miles north of New York City, where firefighters, police, and neighbors are coming together to face this growing danger.
He's just patrolling, right? He's making sure that nothing comes over onto the other side.
Miles into the burned woods of Sterling Forest.
Terrain is very steep, very rocky.
Wait, watch out, watch out!
Very difficult to navigate.
Firefighters are holding the fire line on the ground and by air for days, starving this stubborn wildfire of fuel.
It's a real good push today while the weather conditions are favorable.
Orange County Office of Emergency Management Commissioner Pete Sirigliano says hundreds of acres of forest have been backburned on the border of New York and New Jersey. Crews are battling flames, winds, dangerously dry conditions, and flare-ups, even after the massive wildfire threatening the tri-state area was mostly contained.
It was only 100 yards down the road.
Wildfire experts from Colorado and Montana, known as fire jumpers, have joined hundreds of rescuers from dozens of agencies and are in parts of the woods we can't see.
What their job is going to be is patrolling the inside part of this fire while the volunteers and the rangers are patrolling the exterior.
Folks on the fire line have been evacuated twice.
We haven't slept probably more than a few hours in the last couple of days.
And schools closed for 3 days during a state of emergency that brought the governor here.
This has been a challenge for us. We had a little bit of rain over the last 48 hours, but not enough to extinguish the fires.
Exhausted rescuers are working 24/7.
This is what we do. We're firefighters. We go wherever we're called.
Some haven't seen their families in days as their heroic efforts continue.
When we had Sandy, a lot of you guys from upstate came down. It was incredibly important to us to be able to have this opportunity to come back and give back to the communities that helped us out. So we really needed it. So we're glad we could be here.
The tri-state is under a wildfire threat. I'm here in Jackson, New Jersey, where wildfires burned 350 acres, threatening area homes. This is known as the site of the shotgun fire. A New Jersey man has been charged with arson after firing an illegal shotgun round, sparking the blaze, forcing residents to evacuate. This is just one of the infernos that have tested our communities, and the alert remains high. Our Lauren Dew walks us through how fast these fires have scorched around the tri-state.
The trees, the leaves incinerated here in Jackson, which is part of New Jersey's Pine Barrens, everything covered in thick, dark ash. So how did we get here? We had fantastic fall sunshine. It was the driest October on record. Newark, New Jersey didn't see a drop of measurable rain.
Oh, the weather's beautiful. I love that, but we need rain.
Then the situation got worse. Reservoirs started drying up.
Over 20 years, this is the lowest I've ever seen it.
Oh, it's pathetic. It's really scary.
A month later, on October 17th, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy issues a drought watch to urge residents to conserve water. Within days, on the 21st, a large brush fire sparks in Berlin, Connecticut, turning deadly when a utility vehicle rolled over a 66-year-old veteran firefighter Robert Sharkovich. October 25th, brush fires start igniting on Long Island. The 26th, a major wildfire breaks out behind an industrial complex in Livingston, New Jersey, forcing shoppers to evacuate, burning nearly 200 acres, blanketing the area with smoke.
It's trapped, it's stuck in your throat. You can't get a breath of fresh air anywhere.
2 large wildfires started on Halloween, both in opposite ends of New Jersey. The ground so dry, it becomes a tinderbox for embers. The fire threat just exploded from here. The dubbed shotgun wildfire starts in Jackson, New Jersey on November 6th. On the 7th, 2 fires within an eyesight pop up in South Jersey, scorching a total of nearly 500 acres, sending a ball of smoke and fire behind the backyards of 100 homes. November 9th, time for Long Island's biggest firefight. Near a 4-H camp and golf course, Riverhead firefighters took 9 hours to extinguish a 20-acre brush fire.
A lot of smoke. There was very low visibility when we came out of the staff house.
And on November 13th, the day smoke poured into the city when a fire started at Greenwood Hill Park.
I mean, it's a pretty insane thing to see up here in the Bronx. I did not expect to see this, ever.
The fires keep sparking on Long Island. This one is intentionally made. A Medford firefighter who volunteered to fight fires, now accused of starting them.
I saw a car pull up with a man get out, and the man got out, went in the woods, ran back in his car, and seconds later it was on fire.
County fire officials on Long Island responding to 193 brush fires since October. These are the driest conditions the New Jersey Forest Fire Service says in nearly 120 years. And in this time, they responded to over 537 fires as the drought gets more serious.
New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection under Sean's leadership is declaring a drought warning.
And now to New York State's largest wildfire since 2008, torching 5,000 acres across state lines.
Praying for these people. This is a shock to Greenwood Lake. It really is.
Military helicopters and reinforcement brought in to help the Jennings Creek wildfire.
This has been a challenge for us. We had a little bit of rain over the last 48 hours, but not enough to extinguish the fires.
We were on the fire line. We were trying to keep a fire back.
The wildfires take a second victim. A New York State Parks employee was killed on the front lines. Daryl Vasquez was just 18 years old.
The tree was cut. It fell. It was like a freak accident. The echo of the tree falling, the sound was still in the air, and one of the team members called man down.
All of this unfolding in 4 months. And we are not done with the destruction. Even if a fire is fully contained, that doesn't mean it's out. We could still see smoke because it is so dry.
Acres of Greenwood Hill Park, where we are now, were destroyed by wildfires. These events affecting the suburbs and the city just as much. Amanda Bossard reports New York City is facing a crisis like never before.
Scenes that seem straight out of California are sparking up across New York City at an alarming rate.
It's crazy because I've been living here my whole life and never seen something like this.
And it was a small ring of fire, but it quickly spread.
These brush fires, I think this is the 3rd one today.
Just this month alone, since the beginning of November, we've had over 300 brush fires, more than any month than we could remember.
And that was just 18 days in. Typically, the FDNY is called to no more than 200 in an entire month. This record-breaking streak in the boroughs is forcing firefighters to tap into specialized tools and training, especially where some of the biggest fires have happened, at parks.
I think the multiple alarm fires are due to the extreme dry conditions that we have.
Chief of Fire Operations Kevin Woods took us back to Prospect Park in Brooklyn, where flames burned through 2 acres, the equivalent of about 2 football fields.
We struggled for probably about an hour and a half. We thought we had it, and then a gust of wind would blow it up again.
Top members of the FDNY say they often encounter 2 key challenges when responding to brush fires in conditions like these: the terrain and access to water.
Most parks don't have fire hydrants inside the park, so that's very challenging. So we have to relay water. We have to draft from bodies of water.
Efforts we saw firsthand at Greenwood Hill Park in Manhattan. The FDNY also turns to its 8 brushfire units across the city, stacked with equipment, alongside reserve pumpers, lighter hoses, and canister backpacks to get water where it's needed. To figure that out, drones help reveal the hot spots, like at Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx.
Also, with the new task force, we're going to be using the drones pre-fire to identify areas throughout the city.
The FDNY's brand new brushfire task force, just assembled during this unprecedented time to work before, during, and after these events to avoid any loss of life and extinguish the risk of these fires before they're sparked.
It's kind of crazy that this is our norm a little bit.
Almost every fire department in the county has responded to some type of brush fire over the past couple of weeks now.
I've never seen so many forest fire trucks in one spot.
Within half an hour, it goes, you're going to have to evacuate.
Could your home be at risk for wildfires?
When I walked out of the house this morning, I was like, wow. And it's not healthy. Really scary, the conditions that we're living in right now.
Dangerous smoke can impact your health. What are the warning signs it's time to get help? Wildfires have scorched thousands of acres around the tri-state. Extreme drought conditions, thirsty ground, and heightened temperatures creating a brittle breaking point.
I'm at Cranberry Park here in Norwalk. You can see around me how brittle this grass is. The soil, well, it's turned to dust. These are all clear signs just how bone dry our conditions have become. The landscape is ripe for fire, not only here in Connecticut, but also New York City, Long Island, Westchester, and New Jersey. They're all thirsty for rain. Meteorologist Matt Hammer tells us what the local impact is and if there's any end in sight.
The tri-state region is experiencing more local impacts from wildfires brought on by prolonged drought over the past few years.
That just unsettling type breathing that you had to do, and you could sense that this isn't good, like it was very dangerous.
In 2023, our region was blanketed by thick, dangerous smoke as a result of Canadian wildfires caused by a months-long drought. Just 1 year later, and the unhealthy smoke is back, this time from wildfires in our area, leading to potential health risks for you and your family.
What wildfires tend to do is generate these very tiny particles, 30 times smaller than the width of a human hair. So these particles can actually go deep into the lungs when we breathe.
Chandy says those with pre-existing lung conditions such as asthma and COPD are at greatest risk.
If you're experiencing increased wheezing, increased coughing, increased phlegm production, that might be a sign that a flare-up is starting and you may want to seek medical attention.
This drought is not only impacting us with wildfires and lowering the quality of the air you and I breathe. You can see and hear just how dry it's been. Extremely brittle leaves and twigs can catch fire more easily and are a sign of a bone-dry ground from a severe lack of rain starving our water supply. This can impact you and your home, as many tri-state area residents have been asked to conserve water. Here are some recommendations. Fix any leaks inside your home. Take shorter showers. This actually saves 5 to 7 gallons of water per minute. Keep faucets off as much as possible, and wait to wash dishes and laundry until those machines are full.
Drought will still continue to be an occasional harm for the Northeast U.S. moving forward. And unfortunately, with drought, that can of course lead to an increased threat for brush fires and wildfires.
He says that extreme droughts like this are the result of climate change, and we can also expect periods of extreme rain, which can both cause damage to our communities.
We're just going to continue to strain our resources and our overall hydrology if we see these enhanced extremes continuing going forward.
And it will take several rain or snow events to really start to resolve the severe drought we're in.
Here in Jackson, New Jersey, where there's an elevated risk of wildfires, the New Jersey Forest Fire Service says the entire state is at risk, from high risk in the south to extreme risk in the northern part of Jersey. It's like that all over the tri-state. So how do you know if your home is in harm's way? Our Walt Kane has a tool that can help you assess your risk and better prepare yourself to protect your property.
For thousands of families across the tri-state, these past few weeks have been unsettling, to say the least.
We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Do you pack a go bag? And the smell of the smoke doesn't make it any better. You'd open the door and automatically go, oh my God, is it right around the corner? And you have no idea.
I think it's really scary, the conditions that we're living in right now.
And those conditions may not be changing anytime soon. Research from First Street Foundation finds 79.8 million properties are at risk from wildfires nationwide, including more than 500,000 in the tri-state. In fact, the county with the 9th biggest risk in the nation is Ocean County, New Jersey, with 220,000 properties having at least a 1% chance of being destroyed by a wildfire in the next 3 decades.
We see that primarily because of the weather conditions in the area, the pine barrens in the central part of New Jersey that provide just a tremendous amount of fuel.
Burlington County has the second most homes at risk in New Jersey, just under 80,000, followed by Atlantic County with over 76,000. New York's wildfire risk is lower, but the 2 counties with the most homes at risk are in our area, Richmond County with just under 46,000 and Suffolk County with over 26,000.
A lot of the smaller and medium wildfires are the ones that we really need to worry about because they happen in places where people live.
But along with that research comes new tools you can use to better understand your risk. First Street lets you type in your address to see the fire and flood risk of your property, and the search also works for entire zip codes.
I'm shopping for a home and my wildfire risk is a 7 or 8, but I want to live in this area. Maybe I just want to find a property that's a 4 or 5. I want to find something that's relatively more safe.
To find out your wildfire risk, I put the link on news12.com. First Street Foundation will also be sharing its technology with real estate websites like Realtor, Zillow, and Redfin.
I'm Lisa LaRocca at Greenwood Lake's Waterfront Park, which is under a strict fire ban. That means no campfires, no grilling, no fire pits. It's just too risky. There are red flag warnings all across the tri-state area. A single spark could ignite a raging wildfire. Meteorologist Mike Rizzo tells us just how quickly these fires spread and just how devastating they can be.
It didn't take long for most of the tri-state area to become a dangerous, even deadly landscape this year. Weather patterns and conditions in the environment came together quickly to create the perfect wildfire factory. The tri-state had nearly 3 months with very little rainfall. On top of that, it's autumn, and the fallen leaves add more dry, very flammable material to the ground. With fuel all around, all it takes is one little spark to kindle an inferno. Once the fire starts, those dry gusts we talked about fan the flames. And as it fans those flames, it makes them even bigger. And they could also send embers miles away to start more fires. The steady smoke spreads with the wind, making it hazardous to breathe or even to see for miles around. Those with asthma are especially at risk for experiencing respiratory issues in smoky conditions. And this process will continue until significant and repeated rain can saturate the ground and shut down the wildfire factory.
Up next, the simple steps you can take right now to protect your family, home, and community from the threats of wildfires.
Wildfires are a real threat in many communities around the tri-state, like here in Bethpage. The danger is at our doorstep. Christy Reeder has more on how you can protect your home, your family, and when it is time to take action and stay safe.
It's a new reality for those in the tri-state.
Oh, this is horrendous. I've never been this close.
Within half an hour, you're going to have to evacuate.
The threat of wildfires changing our everyday lives.
So what's the safety plan you need to have? Well, we went to the experts. They've been in business here for over 55 years, knowing everything about fire safety.
From skyscrapers to homes, Peter Martinez makes sure they're prepared for fires.
There's always fire protection necessary for them all.
Let's start on that safety plan for outside, where the threat of wildfires is coming in from. Those leaves, not just a nuisance, it's a fire danger.
You got to take your leaves, put them in bags, any garbage, don't put them up against the walls.
And just on our walk, he spotted fire risks.
There you see, it's up against the house, that could go on fire, and the whole building would go up.
We've had mild weather, so people want to stay outside a little bit longer, and maybe they'll put up one of those propane heaters, but you say not right now. It's
not right now, it's too dry. One little spark, and there goes the neighborhood.
And let's not forget the inside of your home, starting with fire extinguishers.
They have it in the closet, buried under tons of materials. By the time they get to it, the fire is way out of control. A lot of people have them, and they don't even know how to use them.
It's as easy as pull the pin, aim, and squeeze, and make sure it's not expired.
If it's expired, what could that mean when you go to use it?
It might not work.
Next, working detectors.
This is a combination unit. It's both smoke and carbon monoxide.
Nearly 3 out of 5 home fire deaths happened when there were no smoke alarms or they failed. Increase your chance of survival by installing them and checking them yearly. And if you're looking for someone to help you prep your home,
See how long the company has been in business. Call them. Don't get fooled by someone calling you. Hey, we're in the neighborhood. We're doing fire prevention. No reputable company does that.
But the biggest takeaway:
don't worry about your house. Worry about your life.
Well, keep watching your local News 12 station for continuing coverage of the tri-state wildfires. Stay up to date on what's happening in your community on the go by downloading the News 12 app. And you can see what's going on across the region by tuning in to our regional news coverage, News 12 New York, streaming on your favorite platform or on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the News 12 family, stay safe and stay tuned for the latest updates.